The Metaverse is a virtual reality space where people can meet, interact, advertise and communicate.
Virtual reality has been around for probably the best part of 10 years. Originally, I think it really came into action around PlayStation and Sony when they had the VR headsets that you could play games with. And obviously now Oculus and now the Metaverse, which is something that Facebook have come out with.
Ultimately, this could be a huge new opportunity for events and a really interesting way for people to interact in a completely new way that hasn't really happened before.
So with previous virtual events that I've attended, yes, you've had to create an avatar, and there's even one where you got to walk around an event, but it was still through an actual screen itself. Whereas with the Metaverse and virtual reality, you're able to put that user into the physical space and physically interact with either stand holders or through ticket sales in themselves, or actually when they're attending an event, you could include games in the event as well. And there was one that I attended that had an actual escapes room that you could walk into as well. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for events to try and push the boundaries with what they're able to do.
We can definitely expect this to be a trend that grows over the next couple of years. So one of the opportunities that the Metaverse presents for the events industry is broadening the reach and the amount of audiences that you could be targeted for your individual event. So location is no longer a factor. Obviously, something that exists in the Metaverse can exist across, all of the planet. It can be everywhere. Although the one factor that will remain the same is of course time zones. So that's one that you might want to consider. But other than that, you'll be able to target your event to all locations without there being a blocker of travel, of extra time, etc. It's going to make it much more accessible, like we have with the virtual events that we see been running over the past couple of years. However, in the Metaverse, we expect this to be a much more rich and a much more immersive experience.
Step by step, and understand first of all your audience, who it is you're trying to reach, what the event is about, and then you'll be able to build kind of a full funnel approach using the different channels that are going to be available at the time to try and drive as much performance as you can. On top of that as well, because it is a virtual event, you're not limited to just a UK event or a US event or an event that's local to a specific town. You can look to spread globally, and then ultimately your advertising is going to change in that aspect as well, because then you're going to have to accommodate different languages, different geo-targeting, and making sure that you're appealing to those right types of demographics as well as your kind of core base.
Travel is number one, is something that people can attend events without having to have huge expense of travel, and also can attend events with a much lower carbon emissions, achieving ultimately net zero goal. Alongside this, the cost of event setup, although at the moment creating an event within the Metaverse can be incredibly expensive, that's something that we predict will decrease over the next couple of years as they become more commonplace.